What is good, y'all? What's good? What's good? What's good? It is another day, and yeah, we talking crypto, man. So it's me, just Durl. It's Durl, and I got my brother from another mother with me, back from the north. What's good with you, Mark?
What's up, Daryl? Everything's good with me, my friend. Good to see you. Thanks for hosting this platform, talking about some crypto, the future. So I think this is our maybe third show now. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, it's all good. It was a holiday today here in Toronto, Ontario, which is the province here, right? Um, so if you know anything about Toronto, next to Trinidad and Tobago, Toronto sort of hosts the one of the big carnivals in the world, Caravana, and this is actually the weekend that they host it. So usually there'd be a big party, a million people from out of town in here, from all over the world, kind of just having a good time, right?
Hmm.
But obviously that didn't happen this year. But yeah, it's a long weekend, just kicking it back, and dog days of summer now, man. Um, just waiting on football, to be honest with you. That's what I'm getting really hype about, aside from these last few days in the Olympics here. Yeah, other than that, it's all good, man. How you doing today?
Man, I can't complain, man. It's been a busy day. I'm not gonna lie, right? Just keep it 100 with you. Um, you and I have talked offline, so you know what's going on with me as far as changes are coming, and I'm with it. You feel me? But one thing I couldn't do, Mark, was not talk about crypto with my mans. Uh, it seems like we definitely the OGs. We the old motherfuckers. From the steam that I've gotten from my man Sos. How they've done just a good job as promoting us as the OGs and the old niggas. So I'm just roll with it, man. I like this talk with crypto. I like the talk with you, and I just like how we build it, man. So yeah,
Yeah, man.
this is the third or fourth show under our belt, and this is as organic as it gets. You feel me?
Absolutely. Yeah,
So.
absolutely, man. It's just kind of, formed that way. And
Mhm.
listen, it's starting to get mainstream, but it's here. And I think in, the next 5 years, everybody's going to be looking at it, Daryl, and using
Yeah.
it. I think, in a 3 to 5 years, everyone's going to be like, you're not using some form of crypto in your life in some
Right.
way, shape, or form, right? Similar to how everybody uses the internet, I truly believe that's how it's going to be in the next, few years. Yeah, we're just trying to build together here, learn as much as we can, and yeah, just keep plugging away, man, because this is what it's about, man. This is the way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're gonna jump right into this, man, because we're already late on the show. That's my fault, my bad. I'll get better. Um, let's jump right into it right now, man. Let's do a whole crypto recap. And I'm gonna ask you, Mark, what did the markets tell you this past week since we've last spoken?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I think again, it's everyone's finally starting to realize more that the U.S. dollar, the fiat cash, is just slowly being debased in all kinds through inflation, right? So as more people are starting to see it, they're starting to get into the space because, like I said before, they're looking for somewhere to sort of as a safe haven, as a hedge against this thing when it sort of collapses, right? Which if you've been paying attention the last number of years actually, but especially since COVID hit, right? It's people are looking to put their assets in a safe place. When we talked about, usually that would be sort of real estate and gold and stocks and bonds, things of this nature. But if you have anything sort of tied to the dollar and fiat dollar, man, all it does is lose value, right? You want to try to get out of that as soon as you can, to
Hmm.
be honest. And
Hmm.
like I said, it's you don't need to start with a big thing. I think we talked about it last week, Daryl. Right? It's just as if
Hmm.
you would put away money for savings. Do the same thing with crypto, and then you can do a comparison and kind of see where it's at. Um,
Bet.
it did make a big jump the last week, a lot of it. Again, it's just finding its place. It's still volatile, right?
Hmm.
People are coming in and out, and those who are in that kind of quick hustle game, Daryl,
Hmm.
they get in, they when a price jumps up, they get out, and that kind of
Hmm.
dictates the price as well, right?
Right.
So that's kind of what's going on this week.
Yeah, it's wild. So I'm gonna tail that. right? That you are absolutely right. The market was up and down, but it wasn't like what you would call a huge up and down. It was kind of like a minimal, right? It was more like it was going as low as, and I'm saying it as far as Bitcoin, it was going as low as 38, 39, and then as high as maybe 42, depending on where you got it from. But that sweet spot was in between that number, right? So you could see, if you're looking at the full picture, that people were buying and selling. You saw a lot of buy and sell during that time. There wasn't a big dip, and there wasn't, say, such a huge substantial increase. It was just like this little middle line, if you will. Um, so yeah, it was a wonderful thing, man. I already got Sos in here. Talk, hey, Sos is the one that called us OGs, right, dog? So we got to
We'll
take
t-
that name.
yeah, man, we'll take it. We'll take it. You know, So's doing the big things. He's been a supporter from the beginning, so it's all love,
Yeah,
brother. Respect.
yeah. Yeah, I always use this time, man, to kind of like talk to people, or talk through people, if you will. But Sosa is a solid motherfucker. So from a business perspective, man, I will fuck with Sosa from a business perspective, because he always looks like he's got 10 tones down. As a matter
No
of
doubt.
fact, he landed that sports picks deal, which is a big thing, man. You know, and
Yeah, man.
yeah. So to each his own. But this is our avenue right now. This is something that we gonna do. And fuck,
Definitely.
let's talk about it. So crypto recap. We did see this last week. And I'm gonna use I'll use some people that I know as an example. I've had a guy have Cash App, and he put $5 in, right? $5. So this is a fraction of a Bitcoin, right? I had another guy that I've talked to, who is my basketball buddy, put 2 stacks in that, right? So he was putting the Ethereum prices, but he was just, instead of buying Ethereum, he was using Bitcoin.
Okay.
I've had some OGs, like older than us, man, um, legit ask me, yo, what do I need to do about this wallet? So the information that we're giving, um, this isn't sports betting, if you will, if you want to call it. This is long-term investments. You feel me? That's the way we're going with this. And if you know how to maneuver yourself right, then I think you're in a good position. So all we're talking about right now is crypto. The first thing I can say, because we come from a gambling circle, or a capping or sports betting circle, if you will, um, then the money that you're winning, take a fraction of that money and put it in crypto. Mark, tell me I'm wrong or right.
You're absolutely right, Daryl. No, for sure. And don't take just because Mark and Daryl are saying it right now, right? Do a test for yourself, man. Like
Yeah,
like anything you do research on. You go do some picks, you're gonna do research, right? You're not gonna tail
yeah,
blindly. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, maybe once in a while, if you know what I mean, but you get what I'm saying. So it's the same sort of concept if you think of it like that. You're gonna do your own research. You know what I mean? You might take some uh consideration from other people's advice or input and whatnot, but you're still going to
mhm.
do your own research and due diligence. So it's the same type of thing. So what's my point? Take that same $25, put it into cash, and take
Yes, talk about it.
$25, put it into the crypto, and do your own comparison. I mean, don't expect to see necessarily in a week. I mean, you need to give it, statistics is usually like a 30-day sort of time frame where you need to sort of do a sort of a test on that. So, wait a month, couple, and see what it is. I mean, it's they keep printing money, Daryl. This is the bottom. This is the problem with everything. They keep printing
Talk about
money,
it. Talk
right? So
about it.
they print money, and then, like I said before, right? You go to buy something, and you're paying more for the same product, and it's not because your money's less. It's that they keep printing it more, so yours becomes worth less. So you're paying a dollar for something last year. You're not paying like $1.25. You know what I'm saying? And that's where it really stems from is the inflation. So that's the big problem. So you're absolutely right, man. It's do a little test for yourself and see what it is. See how much do you profit from it, and by no means is this a get rich quick scheme like you alluded to. This
Oh,
is
right.
long-term savings for your family
Yeah.
and your family's family and your
Talk
kids,
about it. Talk
right?
about it.
Because if you
Yeah.
save it in cash, it's going to be gone, brother. Go
Yeah.
talk to some of those South American countries and Central American countries, where they've been saving for years because they told to save money. Then the government comes along and debases their currency down to zero, and 20 years of savings is kapoof, just like that, right? So
Just like
um,
that.
it's a dirty game, man. So you got to protect yourself, and I think this is the space to kind of do that. And yeah, just here and learn together. And by no means am I an expert at this. I
Mhm.
do have some skin in the game, but I'm still learning every day too. I mean, we're just scraping the surface here, to be honest with you. So
Absolutely. I would not agree more than what Sosa is saying is that crypto is the future. You got to be out your fucking mind if you don't think this is happening. Crypto is happening. And at this point, if you are listening to crypto dialogue, or if you're looking at crypto information, you are ahead of the curve right now.
100,
What if
yeah, 100%, man. Like we said last week, the stat I saw last week was it's the equivalent users of well, Bitcoin specifically is the same that the internet had in 1997. So that just shows you how early we really are, if you think about it like that, right? So sorry,
salute?
I cut you there, brother. Sorry, go ahead,
No,
man.
no, no, you good. But what I'm saying is that it isn't too late because crypto isn't established yet. But what you don't want to do is be late, right? So when I'm looking at what happened this weekend, this is something curious to me. First off, you and I established last week that we are looking for that dip, right? We are looking for crypto to probably hit that 20K mark before it goes up. As of a week, it hasn't happened. It has not happened, right? So our expectancy of what it will do, it hasn't done. And the later in the year it becomes, what we know for sure is that shit's going up, right? So if it hasn't hit the 20K, if it hasn't hit the 30K or 25K mark, man, this is all green for us, right? At this point, we're still winning. So if you haven't invested, I don't care if it's 100, 1,000, 10,000 into crypto, then you can still do it while that window is open. Tell me I'm right or wrong.
No, 100%. They say, you kind of get in at the price you deserve. So, think about it. If you're investing into a cap supply that has a limit, you will always own a
Right.
percentage of that, no matter if you buy more or less or what anybody else does. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter because it's a cap supply, right?
Mm-hmm.
So man, it's like here it's like owning like a virtual block in Manhattan, if you will. I heard Michael Saylor talk about that, right? So um,
Mm-hmm.
it's listen, you can go anywhere in your world with it, Daryl. You can, if you have property, you can sell a house and you can invest it in crypto.
Bad.
You can walk around
Right.
with your stick. You can walk around with $1 million if you want, $100 million, $1 billion, and nobody can stop you from doing transactions. So um, I think listen, this is where it's going, and I think
Mm-hmm.
people should get in. I would suggest like a dollar cost average approach,
Come
right?
on,
So
talk
so what's
about it,
so
man.
what's that? It's like we kind of already talked on it, right? Daryl is kind of you're putting $25 a week or a month or whatever's works for you personally, your personal situation, right? And that's how you sort of stack it like that. When people hear a Bitcoin, it's like, oh man, it's 30 grand or 40 grand. I can't afford that. I mean, who has
Mm-hmm.
extra money laying around? But you can buy a little piece of it, right? We talked about it,
Mm-hmm.
satoshis, for example, right? So
Satoshi, right?
you start to just build, and that by you just increasing it weekly or monthly, you're just increasing your stock in this asset, if you will, because the it's capped at a supply, so it's not moving as you're moving, just you're moving more, and it's the cap is the top is still the top. You're just kind of getting more percentage of that asset, really. So
Mm-hmm. I think maybe one of the biggest things that's hard to grasp is that cryptocurrency, and we're going to talk about Bitcoin, is finite, which means you just can't make more of it, right? It's not like the dollar. And I think people really have to grasp that it isn't anything like fiat currency. Once the Bitcoin is discovered and collected, that's it. So this is why you hear numbers. And to your point, your example being, hey, Daryl, if I got a Jordan card and it's just 1 out of 10, only 10 people have this card. It's a lot different than if I make this coin for 1,000 people and 1,000 people have it. You lose the value.
You
This
got
is
it.
Bitcoin. This is Bitcoin. So I don't care if it's one Bitcoin at 40,000 now, or if it's just a fraction of Bitcoin, right? And you have called that, these are Satoshis, right? So you've got what you said, 1 million or 100 million Satoshis in
So
one?
that's right. So the 100 million satoshis in one Bitcoin, right? So if
Yeah.
you think of them, they're kind of like think of it as sort of like cents in a fiat sort of standard, right? They're kind of cents. And they said the next kind of big move in the next couple of years, there is going to start kind of pricing, goods and services in
Mm-hmm.
satoshis, like measuring it
Mm-hmm.
like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so remember, the main goal of Bitcoin, I don't think was really developed to sort of be a currency, although it could potentially do that. It was
Mm-hmm.
really like we talked about before, is sort of a digital gold 2.0. And just to
Right.
kind of to your point about they'll never have more, man. Listen, if if they want to print more gold or find more gold, or they'll go dig for more gold and they'll find it. They'll make it happen if they
Mm-hmm.
want it bad enough, right?
Absolutely.
But this is in the programming, man. This is math. This is not because Mark and Daryl talk. This is code and math, man. That's all it is. It's written into the code, man. These are smart engineers, obviously, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's never been hacked. You can't duplicate the code. I mean, you could
Mm-hmm.
try, but it's embedded in the code where, so 21 million, 18.5 million, I believe, has already been mined.
Mm-hmm.
And mining, gets cut in half every 4 years. So the supply
Right.
becomes less, right? So
Mm-hmm.
miners are essentially just solving like really crazy hard mathematical equations as proof of work, and they get rewarded
Mm-hmm.
with coins
Mm-hmm.
for doing that, right? So I think there's like 1,800 a day. Don't quote me on that. Um, get sort of mined. So as that decreasing every 4 years, Daryl, and people start to click in that, man, this thing is not we're not getting more of it. It's actually getting less, and they sort of realize like really what it really is about. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it'll be a mad scramble at the end. I mean, think about it. Like we do so many other things in our day that we don't know
Mm-hmm.
really in-depth stuff about what we do, right? But we still do it kind of blindly. So what's my point? My point is just kind of get involved, you have skin in the game, and you can learn while you're making money, while you're sort of
Right.
learning how to sort of transact it or save it or store it on a wallet, these things, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think
Mm-hmm.
about it, bro. Like you drive through traffic lights and all this stuff, man. We don't you don't know how those things work, but you trust it to stop on red and go on green,
Absolutely.
and everybody's going to do the other thing, right? But we don't know
Talk
how it
about it.
works. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Yeah.
so same thing you can say with a plane. You jump on a plane, we don't know how it works. You just trust it's going to get you there safely. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, this is another thing to be, well, I don't know everything about it. Well, guess what? You and me don't know everything about it, but
Yeah.
we have skin in
Yeah.
the game, and
Yeah.
it's going north, not like the dollar, right? So
Right.
learn while you're in it and making money, man. It's not like, again, nothing that you can afford to lose. You know what I'm saying? But just something just to at least learn, and you'll sort of see the benefits of it in more ways than one.
Man, I don't know if you talking or preaching. You might be doing a little bit of both, bro, because that's knowledge right there. The thing is if nothing else, I don't care if it's $5, $10. We're not even talking about baller status. We are taking sports betting out of it, right? We're just saying whatever extra money that you have, you need to invest that money, right? So before you buy, your Starbucks or whatever you got that you really don't need, nickel and dime that crypto, right? Put it into crypto and just know that that's one thing long term wise is going to probably give you some good results. So,
100%, man. Yeah, 100%. I believe that, honestly. You can't look, they say when you buy it now, think of it like you're really investing kind of for 10 years will you'll kind of see it. So, yeah, you
mhm,
will still reap it, but maybe it'll come sooner as well.
right.
But I think if you're in it, like I said, it's future wise. It's like, think about it, man. There are like 10, 15 years ago, you never thought you could watch TV or movies on your phone or this stuff. And that's not even that long ago if you think about it,
Yeah,
really. You know
man.
what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, really,
Yeah.
no way. Now look at everything. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's hard to kind of see, but the men and women who are involved with this space, they have that vision, man. That's why they're doing it. And this is their kind of pushback against the system,
Yeah.
saying, you're not going to give me a loan because of this, or I'm trying to do this. You know what they said? Instead of fighting back a fight where they know they can't win that way, they said,
Yeah.
okay, you don't want to let us in your system. We're going to build our own system.
We'll build our own.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's what it is. So it's crazy, man.
Hey, those comments kind of remind me of that goddamn commercial I watched about the guy running with the CD player. Like you and I come from that era, man, where like when we listened to music, it was on a legit CD player, and we had to hold that shit still, right? Or
No
you had to
doubt.
have a Sony or something because if that shit started to move, that CD skipped, bro.
For sure, man.
So when so we come from that era where we know how technology changes and how it changes for the better. Like a lot of these cats that we talk to, man, are just solely from that, that MP3 era. Bro, you and I was on Napster. You know what I'm
Facts.
saying? Like,
Facts. Yeah, man.
you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
took a little bit to everything was linear. It was A, B, C, D. It's not like that now. But the way crypto is working, if you create a linear mindset, if you will, then you can't lose. So I lead that into my own withdrawal story, and I wanted to run this past you. Now, you and I haven't talked about this, Mark, but you know me. After following me now for a whole goddamn year, I am 100, man. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. So if I'm going to be the butt of the joke, or if I'm going to be the test tube, if you will, so be it. I don't mind that as long as you're learning from that. If you're learning from my mistakes, so I I premise that to say I tried to pull some crypto from my account this week, and it was extremely hard, Mark. And I think we should touch on this because if you do have people nickel and diming the system, then maybe they really need to know how they get their money out. So going
So
ahead.
yeah, so sorry, you're saying you were trying to move it from your, like, say, crypto wallet back into like fiat cash, you're saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So to be honest with you, I've never done that.
Wow. See?
So I don't know, like, if you want to get kind of on some levels here, then I would say maybe that's a sign to say you shouldn't be doing it either. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But no, but on the real, I would say it's the same process though. The same way how you transfer it as, we'll call like an e-transfer. You know how your platform would give you an email to send it to when you make the deposit? It's literally the reverse. Yes. My guy out there for sure.
I
Walkman days.
know.
Absolutely, man.
Hell
Absolutely.
yeah. Hell yeah.
It should be the exact same process, Daryl, just reverse. Like it should be just like how you transfer it from, your bank, let's say, to um, the what is it, the email that they give you, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then now it's in your platform. Now you can go to Coinbase and you say, oh, I have $25 of Bitcoin now. I see it now. When deposit or whatever it is, I don't have it in front of me, but you should just be able to reverse it just the same way you sent it to
Mm-hmm.
sort of go back. So, but that didn't work for you, obviously. So that's what you're saying, right?
Right. So the thing about it is as easy as you could put your money in, if you don't really know, it can kind of be difficult to take it out. So
Yeah.
that's the problem that I had this weekend,
Yeah.
and I wanted to share that story. So I've got multiple
Absolutely.
wallets, right? So I've got Bitcoin wallet, I've got Coinbase wallet,
Yep.
I've got Uniswap. That's not necessarily a wallet, but an exchange. I've got Gate.io that I really like. All of these wallets are going to have their basically their own terms and conditions, and you've got to understand that when you're putting your investment in said wallets, right? So Coinbase wallet may have a different restriction than, say, Bitcoin wallet or, say, Gate.io. So my experience was I was trying to get a measly $100 out of one account, right? And what ends up happening is this: if you're dealing with crypto that's not really recognized on the exchange, then you've got to use some other wallet to recognize that to transfer or to transfer that coin to make it recognizable, if you will. So I had an emergency, right? It wasn't a big emergency, but I needed some extra money that I didn't have that I wanted to go into crypto because I had made some money off of Bitcoin. If you had put some money into Bitcoin, you made a little bit before it just dropped, right? So if you were on Cash App, if you're on Robinhood or whatever you use, you saw that number go up this weekend, right? But you also saw a drop, and that's fine. But I saw where the money had peaked, and I wanted to take some money out, Mark. And what happened was I had it on a platform into which they had what you call minimums. So if you have an account in which you want to withdraw from, you have to know what the minimums of withdrawals they have, right? Because if there's a minimum of withdrawals, it's probably more than what you have in said account. And in this case, I wanted to withdraw Bitcoin. They had a minimum. So I had to go through the process to where I was literally moving this Bitcoin from one platform to another platform to another platform to where I could eventually get it. Now, what was happening, and listen to me clearly, is a term called gas. You pay gas to move your cryptocurrency. So before I go into detail about that, Mark, what can you say about gas?
Yeah, I mean the gas for all the fees. I mean everyone's got to eat, right, Daryl? That's part of it as well, I think. So
Right.
there'll always be a little bit, and you're right. I think depending on the platform that you use, you'll be paying higher gas fees than some others. Um, Again, I just speak from personal experience. I just keep it more, I would say, like quality over quantity for me myself. So what does that
Mm-hmm.
mean? So I don't mess around with too many platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, when we first got in, man, it wasn't just as easy as like kind of we explained. And I'm glad you said that story because again, it's still technology at the end of the day, and nothing's perfect, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
and these are legit businesses and platforms. So yeah, they'll have these things that you just mentioned, Daryl, about sort of a minimum fees or if you're withdrawing certain amount, things of that nature, right? So but like I said, with the gas fees, they sort of vary from platform to platform. But I just keep it simple with one or two that we've dealt with because, like I said, it was difficult years ago. Like I said, maybe 5 years ago, to sort of get into the space. There was limits on opening accounts and things of this nature. So, compared to then, everything has progressed a lot. But I would say, just try to keep it as simple as possible, especially at the beginning when you're just getting used to the wallets and transacting between, your bank, let's say, and wallets or with other folks. But I think, like I said, the key is just to kind of keep it simple at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And just be mindful though, like you said, Daryl, with that little, that's kind of like we'd call sort of like the fine print type of thing, right? So
Right.
if you,
Right.
you
Right.
you start to kind of do something, you're like, oh shoot, I now I have to kind of go through a couple extra steps. So it's not meant to be difficult like that, but it's a good point,
Mm-hmm.
and good for the folks to know here that it's like I said, it's not perfect. You have to
Right.
pay attention when you're doing things like this,
Mm-hmm.
but try to keep it simple, especially at the beginning, Daryl. That's what I was saying, right? For the folks trying to just get in, maybe simple, just one wallet. Learn how to just kind of shuffle it back and forth a bit, just kind of get used to kind of how it works, right? So
Yeah, you're right about that. The what I guess, if anything, what I would say is if you are investing money in which you kind of want to get back right away, use the platforms to where you can get your money right away. Use PayPal, use Robinhood, use Cash App. Those are the three in which I know you could purchase the crypto, but it's so easily converted back to cash, back to your Cash App or whatever if you needed to. So what I've learned is that do not put crypto on platforms in which it's hard to take your money, right? Do it at a smaller scale in which it's as easy as to get your money as it was to deposit your money. you
facts,
know,
yeah,
you
facts,
feel me? So
facts.
So if you're new to crypto, and if you're still wanting to invest in crypto, and it's not something that you really want to take or do something long term, because there are accounts that I have that, Mark, I won't even touch them. I don't even look at them. Right? I'm just thinking, okay, benchmarks. In year 2, it's supposed to be here. In year 5, it's supposed to be here. In year 10, so we are long term. But if you have people, and we see a lot of this, especially in sports gambling, right? You want your money right away. If you are wanting something right away, I would prefer you put your money in these platforms that allows you to get your money right away. So
Facts.
the top three, Mark, in my opinion, are Cash App, are Robinhood, and PayPal. Now, to your point, they don't own that platform per se, right? So your currency, if that platform can do whatever. We saw Robinhood do this with GameStop. So even though it's kind of a hit or miss, if you ask me, what do you think about that, Mark? I mean, fast money is going to be probably a little issues, but I mean, do you agree with that? Do you disagree with taking the money out quickly on these other platforms? What say you?
I agree, and I think if you go back and look at one of our first episodes, Daryl, we talk about that. I think I was mentioning, or we were talking about, keep the, like you just said, exactly, keep the good stuff sort of on your wallet, on your cold
Right.
wallet, right? That you're
Hmm.
not going to touch, and it's kind of just throw away the key type of thing. But to if you're going to be buying your Starbucks, like we talked about, right, and these type of things, you think you're going to be using it on a day to day for goods and service transactions, then
Yeah.
exactly keep it on that. Where it's just like you're going to be it's quick on your phone. I'm going to be using it once a day or once every other
Right.
day, let's say.
Right.
And to your point, yeah, do your research to figure out some of the ones you just mentioned. So we can't use Cash App here in Canada. I think it's only in the U.S. Right? So we don't have Cash.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So we
What's
have
what's what's close to that?
well, we PayPal obviously, but there's some other ones too that there are. But to be honest, man, like I think like you said, if you're planning on using it for whatever reasons or quick flips, right? These type of things,
Hmm.
keep it on a platform where you're gonna have to do that. It's kind of like your house money, your play money. The real money, the big boy money is kind of stashed away on the key, right? So,
Right.
but do that for sure, absolutely. I don't think it's you can use kind of crypto for a lot of things these days. I mean, you can use it for transactions,
Hmm.
um, but like I said, keep it on one of those wallets that you mentioned, one of those three companies there, Daryl, where you're not going to get hassle. It's
Hmm.
really quick, low gas fees. Um, that's the purpose, right? So like we said, there's lots of room for different players in different sort of factions of this space.
Hmm.
Um, so those wallets, just like that, like you said, they they built that wallet strictly for those reasons, in and out quick flips, no holdups, these type of things, right? Whereas
Hmm.
the other wallets that we talked about last week, like the Ledger and Trezor and these ones, that's
Hmm.
for like cold storage, where it's like you know put it, lock away the key. But yeah, get it off the platform unless you're going to be doing that and you don't care if something happens to the
Yeah.
platform. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? You don't want
Yeah.
to be keeping like 20 bands on there like that, something like that. No, you know what I mean?
Bruh.
You
You
want to keep
bet
a couple
not.
$100 because you're spending here and there. I mean, by all
Yeah.
means. But get it off the platform because, like I said, no keys, no cheese, like Bitcoin Zay says, man. So, if anything happens, it's not yours; it's gone, right? So,
Hmm.
be mindful of that.
So this is what I gotta say, man. Put in what you can afford to lose. So just like you bet whatever units that you do on a daily basis to a game that you're betting on, you can use the same approach for crypto. And if anything, um, you should be thinking long term, right? So if you're putting in what you can afford to lose, well, hell, if you following some of these motherfuckers sports betting, you're winning money. If you won 3 plays, take one of those plays that you won and put that into crypto. That's the way it's got to go. You've got to think of this shit as a marathon. This is not a sprint. And we live in a sprint economy, in a sprint philosophy, if you will, right? Like we've got to have shit right now and it's got to be the maximum right now, right? We don't even understand what long term is. Um, So to your point, I know you can understand that, Mark, because you watch races, right? You watch sprinters. You've got to think about this as long term. So when I say put in what you can afford to lose, you've got to have an account, whether it be Cash App, PayPal, or whatever. You got to have an account that you can say, you know what? And I'm just lowballing this shit. I got $20 that I can spend, right? Instead of spending it, maybe put it into something more long term, right? If you're spending that, then you've lost it already, technically, for what it was. If you spent $20 on food or a movie ticket or whatever, what you got out of that $20 is no longer. You got an experience out of that. So what I'm saying is that same money you could put into a future building of wealth, right? So there's no,
All
yeah,
facts, Daryl. Yeah,
yeah.
man.
So put in what you can afford to lose. Now, Mark, what do you think is happening with Bitcoin right now?
I think it's in a healthy position.
Mm-hmm,
I think here, I know it's Canadian. I think it's 50,000 right on the dot right now. So I
mm-hmm,
don't know if that exactly equates to 40,000 on your ends there, Daryl, but I think it's close to that. Um, like I said, it's more and more corporations are coming into it. Like we
mm-hmm.
talked about before, El Salvador adopted it as their currency.
That's
You know,
wild.
PayPal has it been integrated into their system for a while. Square, Jack Dorsey, who's the Twitter CEO, I mean, he's
Mm-hmm,
a huge fan of Bitcoin. I mean, he
mm-hmm,
said recently, if I wasn't working on Twitter, I'd be working on Bitcoin. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
That's what he said. So these guys see, like to your point, Daryl, they see the long-term potential of this, right? So, the question I'd have back to people who are, skeptical still about the whole crypto space is, well, the dollar's devaluing every day. So it's
Yes,
going to be
sir.
tough. So if you try to leave that for your kids and you think you're saving for your kids, and the idea is proper, it's just the way you're doing it is just it's incorrect. And it's not because we're saying it's incorrect. It's because the look around, like the money keeps deflating. We gave the example
Mm-hmm.
of, you bought some apples last year, and it's, you're paying, 50 cents on the dollar for this
Yes,
year
sir.
because they keep printing, man. That's their solution, is just keep printing,
Yeah.
right? So like I said, it's important to get in the space, but if it's not this, then show me something better then. I
Talk
mean,
about it.
what else is out there? We talked about gold, we talked about real estate, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm,
But in 10 years, people, the young kids who are coming up there, they don't want to be lugging stuff in backpacks, and they think they'll be carrying like
mm-hmm.
gold around in the bags, man. Ask any
Yeah.
25-year-old if they want gold or Bitcoin, man. Everything's on their phone, like you said. It's a microwave society, man. 30 seconds or left, I want it.
Mm-hmm.
You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
like I said, it's gonna be the future for the kids, for the young folks, because like I said, it's everything's on their phone already. Everything is on their phone. So I'm gonna transact everything on my phone. My savings is gonna be on my phone.
Right.
The way I interact is gonna
Absolutely.
be on my the real estate I just sold. I'm gonna convert it to Bitcoin because we keep saying it. If you leave it in cash, it's gonna disappear quick, brother. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's just it's
Yeah.
15% inflation, man. So if you leave $1,000 in the bank, you know what I'm saying? Your $1,500 is going to be gone, or $150 is going to be gone just
Yeah.
because they keep printing it. So if it's
Yeah.
so that's not going to work. Gold is, we talked about it. So what else is there? I mean, that's what these guys are looking around to say. What else is there that's going to protect my
Yeah.
wealth, protect my family? And there's nothing. So you know,
Yeah. And what's so funny to me, Mark, is that anytime I see pictures of large amounts of cash, I just laugh at that because I feel like these guys are behind the curve, really. If you've got large amounts of cash, that shit is is no value into having large amounts of paper money. Maybe it's a good picture, right? Maybe it's a good story, right? But the funniest thing is I had saw a picture of Kodak Black just throwing money in the ocean, and these motherfuckers thought he was wasting money. Well, actually, he wasn't, because that all that is just fucking paper that's printed on there, right? There
facts.
is no value in cash paper money. Bottom
It's
line,
crazy,
dog.
crazy.
Bottom line. And if
It's
you
crazy.
think that your $20 bill or having a whole bunch of those, they say cash is king. The problem is is you've got to have so much more cash than any other crypto in order to maneuver the same way. So
Absolutely.
anybody who holds a lot of physical cash, like I just kind of feel they're behind the eight ball, really, because they don't know. It's more of a look style. So
Agree. I
yeah,
think
yeah,
it's yeah. I think it's either that or just a lack of knowledge or no one sat them
yeah,
down.
yeah,
Yeah, like I say, you just see people trickling into the space as it's getting more
yeah,
mainstream. There, I saw Busta Rhymes was on it there because he finally caught
yeah.
the bug last
He
week. You know what
finally
I'm
caught
saying?
on, dog.
So
Yeah,
it's just, why? So you know what? He'd be maybe a good example. You're wondering, well, these guys are flashing cash. Well, maybe they were doing it and realize, well, this is not increasing. This is actually decreasing everything.
yeah,
This is not. This
yeah,
is like right because it keeps deflating. So, like everything, it's just a getting the knowledge and to really
yeah.
understanding what it is. So
Man, I'm sorry. Anybody who flashes physical cash right now don't know it. They don't
uh,
know it.
they don't know. And you know what? I look at them and I don't say, man, like these guys. I say just they just lack the knowledge.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
that's all it is. Not and again, it's not like oh look at the high and no man, it's just this is
No.
the space. We're invested in it. I've been doing it for a while, you've been doing it for a while. We have skin in the game, we can speak on it a bit. But like I said, the rules of crypto are not going to change for the most part, Dale. So it's
Hmm.
not that oh crypto finally came around for people. No, it's just that you finally your path led you to the inevitable almost. You know what I'm saying? It's
Hmm.
still going to be it
Hmm.
was the same it was 5 years ago. Nothing's really changed. The purpose is still the same. It's just you discovered it because like I said,
Hmm.
you went through some different routes and it was process of elimination. Cash
Yeah.
saving cash didn't work. Gold hasn't done anything for 10 years really.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I said, if there's what else is out there, unless you're
Yeah.
beating the price of inflation, which is what
Hmm.
18% now, 20%. I mean, if you're working at a job, right? Is your job giving you an 18% raise a year? Hell no.
Right.
They're
Right.
scaling
Right.
back if anything because it's tough times. You know
Right.
what I mean? So you got to find a way to keep up with that, or else you're behind the eight ball right from the beginning. You feel me? So
I feel you, man.
unless you were making 18% more than you were last year, unless you're beating inflation, you're behind the eight ball and you're going to be always chasing, bro. That's just math.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
economics. You know what I'm saying? If you're not
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
that's what it is.
The bottom line is this: if you're not in a position to where you are moving this money or looking at crypto that's more safe and solid, that it's just the old way of thinking, right? And that's fine. Everybody's got to get to their place when they get there. But money itself is worthless. Cash is worthless. You got to have a lot of it to do a little. So if you're not capitalizing on crypto markets, and if you don't want to be, I guess, a gambler, if you will, you should turn your money into crypto. It goes up and down. But when you're talking about something that's worth 39K now, that by the end of the year is to be predicted to be at maybe 250K, you're in the wrong boat.
Daryl, listen, man, I'd say, if I didn't reap the harvest of this and see benefits for myself and my family and people that we've sort of helped along as well, I mean, I wouldn't be wasting an hour tonight and the hours we wasted before coming on here saying about something that didn't
Right,
work.
right,
You
right. It
understand what I'm
works.
saying? Why would
Absolutely.
I waste my time and take myself away from our family to try to tell some people about something that didn't work and is going to
Hmm.
hurt them? I mean, that's not me. So,
Right.
anyways, it's like I said, we're talking about it because we've seen the benefits. We understand what it can do in the future, protect the
Hmm.
children,
Hmm.
our families. You know what I'm saying? You leave your kids, $100,000 cash. Guess what? In 20 years, that's going to be absolutely, it's worthless.
Nothing. Right. Right.
So, like I say, you put in a hard money, hard asset like crypto. You put it on a store key, Darrow, like we talked about, 24 key password. You write it down somewhere, somewhere where only you know, or you memorize it, and you can go any
I ain't memorizing none of that
you can
shit.
we're to have that, bro. Too many trees. But listen, man.
Thanks.
But you can go anywhere in the world, and they have hundreds of these, touchdown Bitcoin places where you can go and exchange crypto for whatever that currency is at that time.
Yeah.
So you're not losing money when we're going from here to here. You're because the value changes. You go to exchange and whatever is in Turkey or wherever it is in China, whatever maybe China's not the best excuse, but or best.
Nah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
You said China
you know what I
dog.
mean. Anywhere though, you just exchange it for what is that currency is at that day in value, and then
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
and I mean, it's like you said, it's just a new way of doing things, man. It's Blockbuster to Netflix, man. It's flip
Talk
phones to
about it.
Apple, man. It's
Right,
VCR to DVD. It's online.
right,
It's in-person banking to online banking, right? We can go on with the evolution of technology and
man.
just progress of life. And that's kind of what it is, man. That's all this crypto space is, and it's just securing your assets, looking out for your family, and trying to do something. Like I said, if there's something else out there, let me know, man. I'm willing to learn
Let
and
me
know
know.
something too. But
Bet.
I think crypto is it, Daryl, man. And like I said,
Yeah.
we're ahead of the curve, and we're learning together, and hopefully everybody's learning with us. So
All right, so we established, man, on this. The markets told us last week that it looks pretty good. We could or could not hit the 20K bottom point. My own withdrawal story is I had an issue trying to get this money out because there are minimums. So if you need to put money in and take it out, it's best that you use PayPal, Cash App, or Robinhood, places to where you don't really own the Bitcoin. We wouldn't suggest that, but it gives you access to your crypto, right? So also put in what you can afford to lose. So if you're making money off the sports betting, take a little bit of that and put it into crypto long term, but only put
definitely,
in what you can afford to lose.
definitely.
That's what I've learned off this rap. You got any last words before we close this shit up?
I just say honestly, thanks to you for hosting this, Daryl, and it's
Yeah,
like,
man.
yeah, chopping it up and learning together. And like I said, man,
Yeah,
it's deeper than stuff, man. This is kind of like
yeah.
real life stuff, man. Stuff that
Real
matters.
life.
Yeah, families, kids, man. This is what it's about. It's about saving for it. And listen, if the system was so perfect, like they keep telling us, then everything would be friggin' honky dory, bro, and everybody would just be enjoying life, no issues, no financial problems, nothing, right? But
Yeah,
there's a lot of things that they didn't teach us about really how to what's going on. You know
that's
what I'm saying?
facts. That's facts.
So like I said, these younger cats coming up, um, they built their own system, and they said, you're not going to let us in, or you're going to make it that difficult for me to get ahead in life. I don't want to be struggling and chasing in debt my whole life
Yeah.
in your system that's sort of designed to keep us that way. Nah. So they built something else, man. And like I said, it's great to learn. It's only 12, 13 years old, the whole space, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's still new on a big scale.
Still
So
new.
we're learning. Hopefully the folks who tuned in, we appreciate it. Hope they're kind of learning as well. And yeah, man, we just keep it going, Daryl.
Yeah, man. And with that, man, that's it. That's all we got here. It was something quick. I wanted to make sure we didn't go too long, even though we always do talking about this goddamn crypto. But that is my brother, man, from the north, from
All
Canada,
love, brother. All
giving it
love,
to you
man.
how it is, man. I appreciate you, bro. That's all we got today. We'll tap back in this week. Mark, we got to keep doing this, bro. I think
Absolutely.
there's some steam behind it.
Absolutely.
So
For
we
sure,
got to
man.
keep doing it. And if you have any questions, anything like that, make sure you tap in with us. Let us know that we could touch on that and expound on that. But until then, man, this has been Old Men and Their Crypto. That's the show. Make sure you tap in with us. We'll probably most likely 100% sure get in before this week is out.
No doubt.
So I feel it. Mark, any last words? You can follow me at It's Durrell. You can follow Mark at Pond and Mon Sparks. What Mark does know besides crypto is track and field. And he's
We're
calling these
trying, man.
shots, man.
We're trying, man.
So
We're trying.
yeah. With that said, man, salute, man. I appreciate you, and